Hello, and welcome to a special edition of We Got Issues, the only comic book podcast that can easily admit that the death and return of Superman arc is way, way, way better than the marketing gimmick it set out to be. Hi, I'm Brian Compton, aka BComp, and joining me as always is the bottled city of Candor to my Krypton, Josh Markwith. How you doing, buddy?
I'm the travel size version of you.
I blew up. I'm gone.
Yeah, and I'm
you
small.
at least still exist.
It's small, and then can't move anywhere, like in a bottle, in the Arctic.
And you're constantly being stolen by Brainiac, you know?
Yeah, by Brainiac, yeah, and trying to,
and you're back to being an inanimate object,
right? And constantly used as like a plot device and a lot of stuff. Again, I don't know how many times the what if the Yellow Sun came to Condor or Candor, and then also. What if they actually they did the whole run with Jeff Johns of the what if Candor actually came back and
was it New Krypton? Was it? It was in James Robinson and I want to say like Kurt Busiek. He was like maybe it wasn't Kurt Busiek. I know it was at least James Robinson was in part of that, but yeah, I kind of just like fizzled out and didn't go anywhere from what I recall.
No, it did not. It was weird.
Because I think
also. Oh, sorry. Think what?
I was just say, didn't Frank Miller and Azzarello bring that back for Dark Knight Master Race #3 or something like that? Wasn't like a big plot point too?
Yeah, it was something like that, or it had something to do too with the Dark Knight, not Returns, but
the Master Race. Yeah, it was Master Race.
Was the sequel to Master Race?
It was. So it goes because Dark Knight Strikes Back, and then Dark Knight 3, the Master Race.
Okay, so I'm talking about Strikes Back though too. Like it was a plot point in Strikes Back with all the mini Candor people. It was a plot point against a weird looking Brainiac / Lex Luthor.
I'll be honest. I read Dark Knight Strikes Back once and never read it again. And I have it in trade and the singles, and I was like, well, that's good. We're good.
I'm good. And speaking of good. Out of all the Return of Superman people, who's your favorite one out of the?
Actually, that was funny. 4? That's what I was trying to get into the intro, and I was like, it's too similar to that Spider-Man 2099 intro I did a couple of weeks back. I love the Eradicator design, the last Son of Krypton. I love that design with the yellow shades and all that. Although I will say,
eye exam shades.
Yeah,
those are the shades you get from the eye exam when they dilate your eyes.
Yeah, but man, he did look cool. With also that straight like black and blue costume he had.
That was cool.
But that said, I also really like the cyborg Superman. Like that looked really cool too. So honestly, I was gonna say though, honestly, all 4 of them were dope in their own way. I mean, like even Superboy is cool, Steel is cool. Like all 4 of them were a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that the post Death or the Return of Superman.
The Return of Superman
is where everybody.
The Reign of Superman.
The Reign of Superman. Yeah, post Reign of Superman. That's where they all kind of got better. Like in the actual story itself, they weren't really, received as well. But then the writers just took so much more liberty with them and got way better.
What's crazy is like we're way off topic as always. What's crazy is that the Reign of Superman, in my mind, that arc went on for a long time before they brought Superman back. And it was like, nope, it was like 4 or 5 issues. Like the whole actual arcs are like 5 issues and an annual each. And so I guess that's technically like half a year. But in my mind, it felt like they had stretched that out over the course of, a year or two.
Well, we'll do another episode on the Death of Superman.
Damn right we
the
will.
Backstory behind it. The backstory behind it too is amazing. I just love it.
It's not even a marketing gimmick. It was kind of, but it was all because of a TV show.
It was a TV show and TV show and pissed off writers. That's what it really was.
Don't blame them.
No, exactly. But anyway, I digress. Let's see. I said this time. This is like Brian said, this is a bonus episode because we just saw Superman over the weekend and we wanted to discuss the movie, kind of like what we did with Captain America and Brave New World. or no, sorry, New World Order, Brave New World. I keep
What's the original title?
And then, I mean, we'll do an episode 2 for Fantastic Four, but we just wanted to get this one out while we still have it fresh in my mind. I saw it with you and together. Like, we don't usually see movies together because you're way up in the valley, like
I know,
45
way
hours
out
away.
there, the
like
whole
the
whole way out valley of Burbank.
Yeah, this is a California thing, but it's like you're way up the 405 and
you gotta go down the 405, get on the 101, then get off at the 134, get off at Buena Vista.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. It's too far. That's what it is. It's too far. But I saw it with you and the Bowmaster, Mr.
my
Bowie
boy,
guard,
little Bowie,
David Bowie. Yeah, he loved it. So that's
yeah, he did. That's a good indicator of whether
it
was good or not. Like when a 6-year-old's like, "That was fun, Dad," I'm like,
"Yeah, there we go." We're going to be discussing the movie, kind of discussing what we thought about it, any Easter eggs that we liked, other, kind of do a We Got Issue spin on the Superman movie. But
we'll keep it spoiler free, but then we will announce when spoilers are coming. So if you haven't seen it yet, go see it, etc. Press pause, watch it, come back. But we'll tell you when you need to do that.
Yeah. So, but before we get into all that, I think we have to get in our sponsorship. Because
you want to take it, or do you want this one?
I will take this one this time.
Knock it out.
Shorter. I'm kidding.
Great.
No. So just like in every episode, we just want to help you out. We want to help your movie going snack game out. Something to sneak into the theaters. You didn't hear from me, but yeah, everybody brings something in their pocket. Yeah, exactly. If you are looking for better movie treats to bring to the theater and just the best treats this side of Argo City, you owe it to yourself to check out Duff and Shaw world famous snacks. From wild cherry Dogman gummies to Bigfoot's Smoky Kettle Crunch, these snacks and candy are curated from the most mysterious and undiscovered places on planet Earth. Head over to duffandshaw.com/issues today and check out all they've got and more. Again, that's duffandshaw.com/issues for the most legendary snacks on this planet, on the planet Krypton.
What's left of it. Please check them out. It really does help with the podcast. Yeah. Hey.
Too soon.
So obviously we're going to be talking about the new Superman movie. That's why you're here, to hear us talk about it. As we mentioned, there will be spoilers eventually, but for now we're going to try and keep it as clean and spoiler free as possible. As always, though, once we do announce it and you haven't seen it, go pause, go watch it, come back, press play, or just play this in the background on mute, and whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, let's get into the background on the movie.
This is directed and co-written by James Gunn, and he has been the creator and director of the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy and the new Suicide Squad movie that had come out a couple years ago, and the Peacemaker show as well. He's the showrunner or the creator, and then also Creature Commandos. Mm-hmm. So James Gunn has kind of been the new Kevin Feige of the DC, basically. Yeah,
which is ironic because after Justice League, they begged Kevin Feige, him to come over, and like, well, that didn't work.
Try to poach him.
Yep.
And then, cause it all stemmed from the whole Marvel backlash, or just what happened with James Gunn's. He had some old tweets came up.
Yeah,
he got fired, but then went to DC.
Rehired.
Marvel's like, "Oh, just joking."
Yeah, I don't want to get into all that. It's stupid. No. So we're just gonna move forward.
Yeah, so he's now it's like the Gunverse, basically.
Yes. Well, him and Peter, was it Peter Safran or whatever?
Yeah, Peter Safran.
Yeah.
But I mean, so the first big movie, everybody's calling this is like the start of this verse,
essentially really. It is.
Essentially, even though kind of Suicide Squad is, but essentially this one is. And Superman hit theaters this last weekend, and it's already one of the biggest films of the year, which is great. But does that mean it was good? Does it mean that Superman was done correctly? Mm-hmm. Is this the new direction for the DC universe? And is this the right direction for DC universe?
Does it feel good? All good questions, Josh. Wow, you put those better than I could have written them on a script for you to read better.
Right.
Of course, we'll get into it in a second, but let's do the blurb on the back. But in this case, it'd be the official synopsis. So I sold this off IMDb. Superman must reconcile his alien Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as reporter Clark Kent. As the embodiment of truth, justice, and the human way, he soon finds himself in a world that these views he soon finds himself in a world that views these as old-fashioned. Cool. Yeah, I guess that kind of does it. Well, without getting too spoiled, Josh, what did you think of the movie?
What did I think? You know what? I came out and I liked it. I liked the movie. It's when it's funny. My wife asked me like right after, like, did you like it? And it's like I liked it. I need to sit on it to make sure that I did. I'm not just coming out of the, the movie
high
popcorn high. And I did like it. It was a fun Superman movie, which that's how Superman should be. It was bright. It was hopeful, and it was a fun overall movie. It had the zaniness of James Gunn, but also a lot of the heart too. So it was it was a good Superman movie. I thought it was a good superhero movie as well.
Yeah, I go with that. I'm in a similar boat. In the sense that we walked out. I was like, wow, I really enjoyed that. Now, was that because I enjoyed it and I'm again coming off that sugar high, or is it because it was good? And like you, I agree. I really enjoyed it, to the point where I'm not going to be able to see it again in the movie theater, but I would like to see it again in the movie theater. Very much in a similar way that I had with Thunderbolts. I did not have that with Cap 4. I did not have that with other recent Marvel projects. But coming out of Thunderbolts, I'm like, damn, I kind of really want to watch that again. And the same with Superman. It's like, damn, I really want to watch that again. And I kind of want to watch that with a person who hasn't seen it, with my wife or whoever. I feel like that would be the best way to watch them experience it again for the and then I get to experience it through them for the first time. So yeah, enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I'm still look. It's kind of for me. A lot of the superhero movies are based on that baseline of the Infinity War.
Well,
Endgame. I know exactly. No, I know. I'm saying it's a fair. I'm not
that's
saying
not
it's a fair bar.
That's not a fair.
I'm not saying it's a fair bar, but the bar's there. So does it kind of compares how close this comes to that, or even that first Avengers movie, or even actually the first Iron Man movie. I mean, that first Iron Man movie is probably a better barometer because I came out of the first Iron Man movie loving it.
You were losing your mind from what I recall, man.
It was, or especially the Avengers movie. That one
you lost your mind with that one, but I mean, you were pretty much on board, kind of post Iron Man. You loved Iron Man, you loved Avengers. I mean, I remember you were so pumped for Iron Man 2. And then it came out.
Well, here's also a thing too with Iron Man 2. It's the most Hollywood thing as well because when I watched it at the ArcLight, it was the midnight showing or something. And and for everybody who doesn't ArcLight, they used to have people come out and introduce the movie. Somebody who worked there, they'd introduce the movie, and that night Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau introduced it. And
I lost my mind.
It was crazy. I lost my mind. And I think from that high, I was like, oh man, Iron Man 2 is amazing. And then I rewatched it again. It's like, what happened to this movie? I just want I didn't have the same the same reaction the second time I watched it. So that's why even after this, so Superman, I was like, wait, I want to make sure.
Yeah.
That I'm not,
it's funny you should say
the
that.
haze.
I had a similar kind of reaction with Thor 4. When I watched Thor 4, and maybe it was just the company I had, I absolutely lost my mind. I loved it. I had a great time. The whole theater was buzzing. It was just one of those kind of experiences. And I come to a week later, everyone's like, that movie sucked. I'm like, did we watch the same movie? And I was like, everyone's hating on. I'm like, what movie did you all watch? And then I went to go watch it with my wife, and I think we watched about a half hour before my wife was like, I don't care. She just turned it off. I'm like, I guess we're done with that. And I haven't gone back and watched it. I'll go back and watch Ragnarok or Winter Soldier, but you're right, man. Maybe it wasn't good. Anyway, but we digress.
There's too much of those screaming goats in that movie for me. But I mean,
Superman though. Movie. Yeah, I again, not to get too spoilery, but I I liked that it was bright. I liked
Mm-hmm.
that he smiled. I liked that it was hopeful. I liked that it was unabashedly hopeful. It didn't like, there's that
Right.
thing of like there was like a cynicism with a certain generation of films before this. Or I wouldn't say generation, but a certain era of films,
Mm-hmm.
DC films that just like it seemed cynical and too cool for school. And it was like, no, it embraced it. And I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed that it embraced it.
And to embrace the nerdiness of
Yeah,
Superman himself.
yeah, not just that, but just all of it. Just all of the world building and just heroes are here to help. They're here to be good. They're here not, oh, there's a bus about to go over the side of a building. Should I save it? No, because you'll reveal who you
Yeah,
are and
yeah, no, that
humans will
was.
round you up and kill you, which may be true, but that's not what I want to see in a
Mm-mm.
movie like that.
I think one of my favorite parts of this Superman movie, and it's not a spoiler, is just when he would go, "Gosh darn it," or
Yeah, you never,
gosh darn."
yeah. Gee willikers.
It's like,
He would never even say God.
how
He
old
would always
are
say,
you?
gosh darn it.
Yeah, just like, oh, it was just, it's just like, how old are you, man? Good,
it's
goodness
it's
gracious.
it's very Billy Batson Shazam,
Yeah. Oh
to be
yeah. Yeah.
honest, from the comics. It had that little bit of that edge or energy.
And
Um,
so, I
you
mean,
know,
so it's safe to say that they got Superman correct, and we've talked about Superman before when we talked about All Star Superman in
mhm,
anticipation for this movie, and we don't need to get too in depth about the character of Superman like we did before, but
mhm.
quickly, Brian, like, who is Superman? What is his IRL origin or in real life origin?
Yeah, I mean, basically, he was created by two Jewish kids back in the 1930s, Jerry Siegel, Joe Shuster, and yeah, he was a a orphan of the planet Krypton. Essentially, his story is the Moses story. He's the little baby who got put in the basket, sent down the Nile, and found by other people and raised to be like that. I mean, that's literally it's the Moses story from the Old Testament or from the Torah, if you want to. I mean,
Mhm.
he's also an illegal alien. I mean, like, not even a joke. He is literally an illegal alien on in every it's like it's so funny to me that like certain people on a certain side of the political line get all up in arms about that. I'm like, no, that's who he
Yeah, that's kind of,
was
yeah.
from kind of the beginning. Like, did you miss that? I don't know. Whatever. Where does he rank for you in terms of superheroes, Josh? I know you have a lot of favorites. It always catches me off guard. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like you're like, it really surprised me when you're like, dude, I'm a big FF guy. I'm like, wow, that's very specific. And I don't, it's like you don't hear too many people saying like I'm a big FF guy, but it's
Right.
usually like I'm a big Spider-Man or an X-Men or blah blah blah. But you're like, no, dude, I'm into Nova. Really, Nova? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you have very, and again, I'm not saying that to be insulting. It's like you
No,
have
yeah,
very
yeah.
specific take, which is great. Where does he rank for you as like superhero?
I think Superman is one of my top ones. I mean, I
Oh,
think sometimes I even have him higher than Batman. It's just
mm-hmm.
because he's the prototype superhero, and when he's done correctly, I mean, again,
Yes.
he's. I think some people misconstrue him, or just go too much into one aspect of him. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's great when he is the hope. Like, again, he's the light to Batman's dark. He's the
Yeah.
opposite of that coin. So he's one of my favorite ones. Like, usually I'll go for a good Superman story. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
stemming from the cartoon that was really
Yeah.
good,
Mm-hmm.
stemming from the Christopher Reeve movies.
Mm-hmm.
They were good. I mean, he is up there. Like, most of the time I will go for a Superman story, and it's there's a reason why he's mostly the center, like the center of a lot of the big stories, or a lot of the like, if you have a team of Justice League, he's usually one of the big three. He's one of the big three.
Part of the Trinity, yeah.
Yeah, the Trinity. So for good reason, not just because of
Yeah.
longevity, but for the uh staying power of the character. And I think I saw somewhere where somebody talked about this, and they kind of had a point. Like, the character's been in pop culture for so long, it's hard to
Mhm,
find a story that hasn't been done
mhm,
about him or with him.
mhm.
So, and he still is one of the Trinity. Is also one of the top DC
Still
characters of the
resonates.
longevity of him. Yeah, it resonates. That's a better word for it. Yeah, and yeah, he's one of my. I mean, he's kind of the like you say, like most people go for Batman, but I kind of lean towards Superman or like case in point like Avengers. Everybody would kind of go either like Iron Man or something. I'm a Captain America guy. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big Cap guy myself in that regard.
yeah,
Yeah, I again, and that's very similar. Like when written right, Cap is the best,
yeah,
you know. And
because I like the leaders. I like
yeah,
the the characters that can they are badass, but also build their team up. That's what Superman does. Like of course, he holds his own against stuff, but
yeah.
he also has the ability to build everybody else
Inspire.
around him and inspire. Yeah, so you feel like you're on his level,
Yeah,
and that's what I really like. Like he doesn't fight crime with fear. He fights crime with hope, and
yeah,
that's a very stark contrast for a lot of stuff, especially with current superheroes and things like that,
yeah.
and what we need.
It's funny because, like, I started collecting comics in the late, basically the '90s, the mid '90s, and that's when it was not cool to like Superman. It wasn't. It was like you were Batman or
Right.
X-Men or Spawn or anything. It had to be dark and edgy, and which is ironic because like those actual stories of Superman are really good. They're not like the greatest, but they're well done, and that's when you have like the death of Superman and all that. But I definitely come from an era where it was not cool to like Superman. You had to like Batman. You
Mhm.
had to like all that stuff. I have in the last like I'd say in the last decade or so, or the last like 10 years rather, like really grown to like him a lot to be one of my favorite heroes.
Mhm.
And it's funny, maybe it's the father in me, I don't know. But when I asked my son, who's cooler, he's like, he knows that Batman's cooler, but he's like, he'd rather be Superman,
Mhm.
because he thinks Superman's the good guy. And I'm glad that they've kind of changed a little bit of Batman to like kind of make him a little bit more sympathetic and empathetic and like a father figure and all that. But like Superman still is the symbol that we should all be aspiring towards. And I, like you said, I like when he's written right. I like when he's done well. Um, I would say for me, he's definitely in my top five, if not top three.
Mhm.
Like I said, I have that app where I have like you can track all my characters and
Right.
of all my comics and all that. And it's like, yeah, Batman. I have more Batman comics than anything else. But number two is Superman. And I've been like on a mission to collect more and more of like that era, like so the '90s stuff. But I really really have really been digging him. And when, like you said, when written right by people like Mark Waid and even like Dan Jurgens and all that, like it's good stuff.
I was about to say he really got a good boost with Rebirth. I think Rebirth to come out of
Rebirth.
Rebirth, he was his character was it came out the best out of that.
I remember texting you about Rebirth and saying, "Hey man, I know this is going to sound stupid, but is Superman comics better than Batman comics right now?" And you're
All
like,
right.
"Dude, I think it is." I was like, "These are amazing!" Like, and it was so well done. And unfortunately, a certain creator came in and kind of upset the apple cart kind of thing and
Yeah,
threw out the baby
just
with
to
the
upset it.
bathwater, just to upset it, and there was no reason to. And like one of the big things I've been, has been reading about Superman lately. Every single fan, is still pissed about this. The same way they're pissed about Mary Jane and Peter Parker breaking up, over like one new
Mhm.
or one more day or whatever the hell it was, one more
Brand
day,
new day.
well, whatever, yeah, brand new, like
Brand new one more day.
whatever.
Yesterday.
Just the yeah, I'm done with that. But the other thing that that seems to be is like the fact that they aged up Jonathan Kent, his
Right.
son, to be a teenager because it's like, no, man, we want to see Superman as a father. Like, and obviously having Jonathan Kent older allows you for different stories, but it's like the big mistake they made is they should have let him still be a kid and have that parallel with Damian
Mhm.
and to let Superman grow into that father figure a little bit. It'll explore that a little bit more, for lack of a better word.
Right.
It's funny, and I'm sure there'll be some point where they'll de-age him. They did the same thing with Franklin Richards with the FF way back in the
Oh
day,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it
What's
would be
that?
a Psy Lord, and they're like, that's not working. Let's just bring him back to being a little kid again. But I'm hoping they do that. I know it sounds stupid, but that would be there's any number of ways they could do
Yeah,
it.
or at
Yeah.
least just having the back to the same age as Damien, I think.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Let Superman and Batman deal with teenage kids
Right.
together.
Man,
Man, what's with these hormones?
right, exactly. And then have them, I don't know, like have them do a play date again or so. I don't know. That sounds bad,
Yeah,
but
like, honestly, a double date would be fine. You know what I mean? Like that'd be really
no,
cool.
Tom Keane tried that one, and that was
Well, he did it with Superman and Batman and
yeah,
Catwoman
that's
and
right. Yeah.
Lois. But I mean, like to see like John Kent with his boyfriend and
Oh
Damien
yeah,
with
yeah.
going out for the first time as teenagers together, that'd be fun.
Damien
You
with
know?
Justice.
Yeah, exactly.
So what? Just while we're talking about Superman and writers and stuff, I think one of my least favorite criticisms of Superman that comes up, and it's just because people I feel like are ignorant about the character and about the stories, is when they say that Superman is boring. He's too
Oh
powerful to
shit.
this. Exactly. I think I hate that so much
Yeah.
because it shows a fundamental
Understanding.
a misunderstanding of the character and then of the potential of characters like that. It's I say this a lot and I say this many times. There's no such thing as a bad comic book character. It's just writers who don't know how to use them. Any
Well,
character can be great. It's
yeah.
just it needs the right writer to run it. And people who say that Superman is boring have no idea when
Well,
when when he has to because he didn't kill or doesn't do it like he could do this and like he the amount of restraint that he has to do
mhm,
shows his humanity and it's like oh he's too
mhm,
powerful. It's like not I mean he's powerful but he also he's very conscious of that power, so it's
mhm.
he lives in a world of cardboard.
Well, and it's funny you should say that because there's two things to that. Number one, it is that thing just because you again you can do anything doesn't mean you can do everything. We've talked about
Right.
that. This
Yeah.
is the man who can do anything but can't do everything. Imagine that. Like at a certain point, it's like you got to sleep. Well, if you sleep, you just let the tsunami hit Indonesia and it's going to wipe out 10,000 people or something like that. Like, well, the man's got to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, and it's funny. I think about that. Like one time, I know it's gonna sound really off tangent, but like one time I was driving, I was like thinking about people who like do like charity work, and they're like, oh, they don't do enough charity work. No, they got to have their personal lives. Superman's the same thing. It's like he does essentially this is charity.
Right.
What he does. Well, the dude's got to live his life too. You can't. It's like if you just do all your time doing this and have no, you're gonna lose your humanity. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, I think people who say that are people who are like I want killing and da 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 and I
Yeah.
it's like you're it's very one dimensional what you're looking at, and I think that's the conflict he has to live with is like I could be out there flying around like the Samaritan just saving everybody, but at what cost? Then you turn into irredeemable, you know?
Or yeah, and then it would just the toll on himself, on the self guilt too of how he
Yeah,
can't be everywhere at once is also a
yeah,
big character trait. Like
yeah.
he knows he can't do everything, but he tries his best, and he's like you said, he's only one Kryptonian.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's, like you said, like all the stories, he's been around for 80 plus years now. It's like all the stories have been told, but have they? It's like, or maybe there's just different ways of telling them at this point, and
Right.
mm, I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old man at this point, but I like seeing the Boy Scout. I like seeing the person who's put in the impossible situation, make the impossible choice and somehow come out on top. You know what I mean?
There's a reason why his character has stemmed so many like evil versions.
Mhm.
Uh because he's the Boy Scout, the pure boy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of other versions of Superman, let's talk a little bit about the actual other characters. We're supposed to talk about the movie, obviously, but you know, David Cornsweet is obviously Superman in this. Well, what did you think of like the previous Superman that have come before him? And I mean, I say previous, I don't want to go all the way back to like George Reeves, but I mean, like let's start with Christopher Reeves and like the Donner films. What did you think of those films? Or as either as a comparison or just as films in general. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, with Christopher Reeve Superman, I think the first two, of course, are
Yeah.
it's the again Superman is a prototype for superheroes. These
Yep.
two movies are the prototypes for superhero movies.
Absolutely.
Third and fourth one, not so much.
Richard Pryor, baby.
Yeah, and then what?
Anyway,
Nuclear Man with his acrylic nails.
I kind of like that idea. It just got executed so badly.
Oh yeah, I mean there's so much behind the scenes story. First of all, there are
Oh, I know.
Canyon
Well, there was
films.
two of them. Wasn't there like two of
Yeah,
them in the
there's
original
two
cut?
nuclear. Yeah, well, the original cut was I heard was 135 minutes, and then it got good reviews, and everybody it was testing really well. And then the people behind Canon were like, "Well, this is doing so well, let's cut it down so it could play more." And then that's
Oh
what the
no.
movie came out. And there's no Donner cut of that movie.
No, no.
So
Well, he wasn't involved at all. I mean, even
no,
like
no,
the
I'm saying like
yeah, yeah,
the Superman
yeah.
2
I
had
see
the
what you're
Donner
saying.
cut. Like
Yeah,
there's
the assembly
no
cut.
yeah, there's no but no Christopher Reeve is the prototype too, if just of Superman. I think that's what
Yeah.
who everybody compares any other live action Superman to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just the scene alone where he reveals himself to Lois Lane as Superman in Superman 2, the body language that he did, just
Yeah.
the how he carried himself and everything is he's the prototype.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because like I think we talked about this last time we talked about Superman, but there I think I was conflating the scene with you're talking about Superman 2. There's a scene in Superman 1 where he does the same thing where he walks in as Clark Kent. He's about to go on a date with Lois, and he does the same thing where he just like he suddenly just his chest gets huge. He's like, Lois, there's something I have to tell you. And he looks at the glasses and realizes he can't, puts the glass, we're gonna be late for our dinner. You know,
right.
That scene got me, and also just the other scene, honestly, when he watched Pa Kent, and it wasn't Christopher Reeves, but you know, when Pa Kent dies and he's like, you know, all these powers, everything I can do, and I couldn't stop it. You know, I absolutely love, and the tagline was like, I think you will believe a man can fly, and that movie and Chris did that.
It was just very good.
Yeah, that led into us. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna go where you're going. That led into the next Superman movie, which was the Brendan Routh Superman with Bryan Singer, Kevin Spacey. I wasn't. I mean,
it was
I was
fine.
not a big fan of that. It was.
It's fine.
It was a boring Superman movie.
Well, it was a rehash of the original film, another real estate scheme. Yeah. Oh, cool, great.
Oh, don't even get me started on. So it's an island full of kryptonite, right? And he's able to lift an island full of kryptonite, but a sliver of it can make him almost kill him. You shouldn't be able to be within 3 miles of that whole thing,
right? Yeah, I feel bad for Routh because like I didn't think he was necessarily a bad Superman. You know, he had the look and all that.
He got banded.
You know,
Eric banded.
Yeah. Well, that led us, of course, to
Cavill.
Go ahead.
Cavilled. He got cavilled.
Well, let's say that led us into the Henry Cavill. What did you think? I hate this to say this, but this is basically a 2-part question. What did you think of Henry Cavill as Superman, and what did you think of those Superman movies?
I thought Henry Cavill was a great Superman. He just didn't have a good chance at being Superman. He was all for the character. He played the character very well. He had the gravitas of it. I mean, look, this doesn't get even the movie was not great, but Superman and Justice League movie, the Snyder Justice League, was a great Superman.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I hate to say it. I kind of checked out of all the Snyderverse stuff after a while. It's too bad because there were some good elements there. I mean, like I said, there's that scene where like Flash is running up the steps and you just see in Flash time, like Superman just turns and looks at him. It was genuinely that was horrifying. That was such a great moment, you know? I mean,
but there's other cool moments too, like when he's back fully and he's helping the Justice League and he's just kind of like Cyborg is trying to push all the mother boxes up and he just comes and it's like, all right, man, you got this. What do I do? Like in this little things like that is just like great and like Superman moments and or the they do a end credit scene where he races the Flash and just like whoever loses is off the Justice League. He's like, I'm just kidding. So it's a nicer Superman. Like the Snyderverse Superman, like Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, I think were too serious and too
that's what I'm talking about. It was too
not
grim,
fun.
It was too dark. Yeah, and it's no disrespect to Cavill. I thought Cavill was fine. I thought he had the look, he had the size, he had the chops. It just it's I hate to say it. I know there's a lot of Snyder fans out there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not on board with you. And I say that saying like I didn't think Man of Steel was bad. I just don't think it was a good Superman movie. And like, I
Yeah.
actually like the Watchmen, the extended cut of it. It was
Mhm.
emotionless, but I actually liked the Snyder or the extended cut of the Watchmen. But I
That's
digress.
300.
Now there's 300 is good. Dawn of the Dead is good. You know, like I said, I'm not like, oh, F Snyder. I'm not into his,
Yeah.
Ayn Randian, philosophy of life. I'm not into his like my Batman kills kind of point of view.
Yeah.
But, if I look at it just as a film, though, I'm like, it's fine. It's just, it wasn't the Superman I like. But
He's a great special effects supervisor.
Well, that's the problem. And I read somewhere like a good review of like his films. Like the problem is that every shot is epic. The problem is when every shot becomes epic, none of the shots are epic. You know what I mean? Like when it's like, oh, just lifting up a newspaper is epic. When getting out of the bathtub is epic. It's like, geez, it's just too much, man. Like you got to save those ones for the.
Yeah, his movies would be like 35 minutes if it wasn't all for the slow-mos.
Yeah. Now, there is one other Superman of live action of late, and I cannot speak to this too much, but I would like. I'm not talking about Tom Wellings, Smallville.
Oh, right. Yeah. No. What'd you think of Smallville?
I love the first season.
Yeah. You mean the Kryptonite Freak of the Week?
Yeah, it was just the X-Files, except it was Superman.
Yeah. Michael Rosenbaum was a great Lex Luthor.
Oh, he was great.
I mean, and Tom Welling was a great Superman.
Yeah,
Clark Kent, I should say. Yeah, they had the no tights, no capes rule.
Yeah,
no flights, no tights. That's
no flights, no tights. Well, but I was actually referring to, what did you think of Tyler Hoechlin?
First of all, thank you for saying his full name because I knew I was going to get it wrong again. Like I was waiting for you just to say Tyler Hoechlin, but no. I think he was a great Superman as well. I think he had the great attitude. He was written well. Right when he was coming in, when he showed up in Supergirl, the CW Supergirl show. It just right off the bat, he was awesome because he just comes in and he's just like, "Hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing?" Like, okay, cool. Like, just all the like extras, like talking to people who work at the DOA or wherever he is, and then that first episode of the CW show was awesome too because it kind of shows flashbacks of his first time, and then coming to Metropolis. So they do the recreate, the famous cover, and some kid just goes, "Oh, I like your suit." He goes, "Oh, thanks, my mom made it," and then he just goes and he just flies away and stuff. So it was
really kind of positive.
Yeah, it's positive, smiling, just nice, and but it can also be serious and believable, and his relationship with Lois was great, and then they brought in the kids, which the kids are okay. I wasn't a fan too much of them. Like they pushed Jonathan into twins, and it's kind of back and forth of that, but they had a different type of Lex Luthor. They brought in Bruno Mannheim, which you haven't seen anywhere else. And I thought it's definitely a great show to check out. It's on CW the whole season, or the whole show's on Max, or HBO Max.
HBO Max now.
It's called HBO Max.
Yeah. I heard that the last season is particularly good, and that they had done something with that season. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I've heard they did something with that season that they had never really done across the rest of the Superman sort of mythology, and that they did some really cool stuff with it. So
yeah,
if I had time, I would check it out. It's just hard to, with the kids and all that, to watch hour-long 22 episode seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, the twists that they did with the villains of Superman are great. They're still
okay.
They're still there. They're still the essence of the characters there, but just a slight little twist. It's almost like the Ultimate version, like the Marvel Ultimate version. Like it's there. It's still worth checking out, but it's just different.
Well, that's cool. I'll have to check that out. I was going to say though, that kind of brings us to the here and now, which is David Corn Sweat. So from this point on, there will be spoilers. It's not going to be a lot, but there will be spoilers. We're going to break certain things in the film.
Spoiler alert.
So if you haven't seen it, or you don't care about spoilers, like here's their jumping off point. But just giving you a fair warning. All right. As we always say, press pause, go watch it, come back.
Please come back.
Whatever.
Please come back.
Please, we beg you. What did you think? This is David Corn, so I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly. What did you think of him as Superman? and what did you think of him as Clark Kent? We kind of talked about Superman a lot, but
Yeah.
real quick,
I
did
thought
he?
Superman was great. I thought Superman was great. I think he had that good gravitas of Superman, and I mean, in the movie, this is his third year as Superman,
Yeah,
which you can see that as well. Like he's there, but he's also still trying to get his bearings.
yeah,
He's not as seasoned as most Superman that we see. Like
yeah.
in the past other Superman, like it's their first year, but they're already pretty, you know,
Beefy.
beefy or just well seasoned
Yeah.
as being a
No, I
superhero.
mean,
Like,
yeah,
and I think he's you can tell he's like learning stuff or just trying to figure out stuff. And I think David played that really well. I thought he had the, like I said earlier, like the gosh darn it, oh come
yeah.
on, and stuff. He was funny, and then he could be serious, and he played it really well.
Yeah, he's not as a beef boy as Cavill was in the role,
Mm.
but I definitely got like he had a little bit of that Cavill energy, if that makes any sense. Like I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if that even tracks, but there was like an earnestness to him. There was like he had the look. I mean,
Hmm.
damn. I mean, like so did Cavill though. Like they all look like Superman, you know. I agree with you. I thought that he did a good job as Superman. I thought that he was funny. There was a slight goofiness to him that probably more goofier than they needed, but it worked. I think that it was fine to do that with this, especially when you kind of compare it to the Snyderverse stuff.
Hmm.
Um, I liked that it was like he's not learning the ropes, but he's still not. You said he's not 100% seasoned. You know, I like that he's going out of his way to save everything and anything, whether it's a squirrel on the side of the road
Right.
or the big giant kaiju that's like ripping through Metropolis. Um, the one thing I kind of will ding them on, to be honest, was Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Like in the scenes we get Clark Kent, great, works, totally fine. But we got like maybe like 1.5 scenes with actually Clark Kent, really. It felt like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If it
and
was,
that's
it was
all in
like
the beginning.
it was in him in passing, just happened to be walking through the scene, and then it's like because all the stuff with him and Lois is like, oh, it's pretty much him as Superman, you know,
Right.
and I kind of wish we had a little bit more of that. And I don't need like the bumbling, the Christopher Reeves version of it. Like I thought he was fine. It's just like, oh, he's just a dude. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I that's just me though.
He's supposed to be able to just be in the background and to be a wallflower. And I thought it was fine what we saw. But
Yeah.
again, I mean, it is not a lot of Clark Kent for sure, but also it's a Superman movie, not a Clark Kent movie. I see that reason.
True.
And
But it's the thing is they're so intertwined. That's the problem with
that's true. Yeah.
It's that old kind of thing where it's like Bruce Wayne is the mask that Batman wears.
Mhm.
Superman is kind of the mask that Clark Kent wears in a weird way, if that makes sense, because it does tie him to his humanity. It makes him remember how important it is. And I guess we get a little bit of that when he goes to the Kent farm and he goes back and sees his parents. We see a little bit of that, but I just think that if there was one thing I'm going to ding, and I'm not like being like, oh, so how dare they? I would have liked a little bit more of a balance of Clark Kent and Superman. You know what I mean?
Well, and then speaking of that too, I think that's another good thing about Superman is that he has three personas. There's the Metropolis, Daily Planet, Clark Kent. There's himself, and I say himself really is Clark Kent at his home in Smallville.
Yeah.
Clark Kent.
Yeah, Smallville.
And then there's Superman.
Smallville, Metropolis, and then Superman.
And Superman.
Well,
I think
you can almost even say like Arctic or the Fortress of Solitude,
yeah.
the Smallville, and the Daily Planet or the Metropolis of all. They're almost like that weird triangle where somewhere in the middle is he is. And go ahead.
Well, and just to also just kind of compound it, like just to give people, I did like how, in the storyline, Lois already knows who he is. He already.
That's actually my next question was going to. Were you cool with them just like go ahead and like just rip that Band-Aid off?
I didn't want to go back and forth of something that we already know that would eventually happen.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. Like on the one hand, like I always loved the love triangle where it's like, will she, won't we? With who is she more in love with, Clark Kent, or is she more in love with Superman? Oh, she doesn't know. It's like I but for this, I'm like, at least in the comics, that's where it is. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Just mirror the comics. We're good with that. I do like that they reference the fact that he has like those glasses that kind of hypnotize people into not seeing who he actually is, which is it is from the comics. It's like an old reference.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like it's like from the 70s or something like that. Where it's like, yeah, apparently his glasses are made from, part of his rocket, and so they have like the crypto. Yeah, I don't think it's canon anymore, but I thought it was but it's kind of cool. Anyway, well, speaking of Lois, what did you think of Rachel Brosnahan as Lois?
I thought she was fine. It was good Lois. I mean, she's one of the better Loises. If that means Margot Kidder is the prototype, and I thought she was good.
I like that she's young and hungry. Like she was still a young and hungry Lois, because the Lois in the comics right now is an adult, mature she is Superwoman. Well, she's also a mom, but she also is Superwoman. But I like that in the comics she's much more like, I don't know, feisty isn't the word. It's not feisty, but she's just a lot more assured of herself, and just like, she's a lot more adult. And this one, not that Rachel Brosnahan isn't an adult, but there was like a sort of like a youthful energy to her, which I was like, that's where they should be at this point in their stage, stage of life. If they've been around, or he's been around for 3 years, this is where they would be.
How do you think she compares to other Loises?
I think she's better than certain ones of recent memory. I'd probably hold her up against Margot Kidder, probably. Margot Kidder was playing up the whole, I don't know who Superman is. What a swell super guy.
All right.
I like the more like feistier version here, who wasn't going to take any guff, and was trying to solve stuff. Even while the city is literally crashing around their ears, she's still like trying to figure out the story with the Daily Planet cast. You know what I mean?
And speaking of the Daily Planet cast, how'd you feel about the Daily Planet people, like the surrounding people?
It was nice to just like, even though they didn't like get into it, but like they had like, it was a like Steve Lombardi, and they had Cat Grant, and they had Perry. Obviously, I like that they were there. Like, not that they did a lot, but it's like they had like their brief little moment. Like, yep, that's the character. That's the character. I mean, they were very one dimensional. Like, oh, Cat Grant's a little bit of a sex symbol, and Lombardi's a bit of an idiot. And Perry's like, don't call me chief. Which that's kind of, I liked all that. I thought it was funny that they went, with Jimmy Olsen just being a playboy essentially.
Right.
Like,
which it was kind of like that in the All-Star Superman.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was like. It was right out of All-Star Superman. But I like that it was used to further the plot. I like that kid as an actor. I don't know anything about him outside of the fact that he was like in Santa Clarita Diet or whatever. But I thought he was fun.
He's good in the Righteous Gemstones. He's really good in that.
I need to watch that. What did you think of the villains, though?
Villains. Well, first,
I didn't ask you about your plan. What did you think of the Daily Planet? I'm sorry. What did you think?
No problem. Daily Planet. I thought it was a good cast. I liked the use of Cat Grant and the comedic effect of the sports guy Lombardi. They weren't introduced in this book, but they were really utilized, I think, in the Jeff Johns Superman, if I remember correctly. Like
they go back.
They go way back. Yeah. But I mean, just in recent memory, they came back for or more, more storylines with these guys. And then I mean, Perry White is he's as synonymous with Superman as Jimmy or Lois Lane. So it was I think all the actors who played the parts did it really well as well. So it was good supporting Daily Planet cast, and it was fun to see them as a team as well.
Well, that's the thing. The movie side of it all, like in the actual comics and the animated series and the cartoons and the radio shows and all that, it's like you had to rely on them as your cast of characters. You know what I mean? So it's like they were a little bit more fully developed. So because it's good to see them in this. I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, we've talked about like how Gotham Central would be a excellent book to do as a TV show. Just the reciprocal of that would be like doing the Daily Planet with like, oh, there's Superman saving the day. You only catch Clark in the background doing stuff, but you
Yeah,
focus on these like reporters trying to sniff out stories, because essentially they are the best of the best when it comes to reporting, much like the Gotham Central unit, the GCPD
oh, totally.
was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
best. Yeah. So I think that would be, damn it, now that's a comic I would read, just like, the Daily Planet, you know what I mean? That's what,
Wow.
oh man, that's what Bendis should have done. Oh, because
I
Bendis
mean,
could have done that book good.
I
Bendis could
think
have
so
done that
too.
book.
Yeah, a good or even like interns at the that'd
Yeah.
be a good web series. An intern at the Daily Planet. They could have done that
Oh
as a
man, like you
marketing
could
web
do so
series.
many things. It's like you could also deal with the fact the death of Prince. You could, because like
Yeah.
there's damn it, why aren't we living in that universe where that's where he did, and Jonathan Kent stayed 14 or stayed 11,
Yeah.
and oh
Oh
god.
man.
All right. Anyway, I digress. Yes, I
Yeah.
like the cast. I want more of them, but it wouldn't have worked for a movie like this. We need a TV show or a comic
Yeah.
like that.
And fun fact, the actress who plays Cat Grant is going to be the voice of Chopper in the live action One Piece show. So take that with you. Moving on to moving on to the villains. So the main villain, of course, was Lex Luthor in this movie, and then he had his henchman of the engineer, who we thought was going to have a completely different character when we talked about her in the Authority,
Yeah.
on our Authority episode, and then also first it was the Hammer Barovia, and it would turn out to be Ultraman.
Yeah, which then also ultimately turned out to be
Yeah,
Bizarro, essentially.
Bizarro. Yeah,
Which is something that's funny. I was reading through like, DC posted like their Easter eggs. I'm like, he's Ultraman from this. I'm like, no, he's Bizarro. Did you guys not miss
right.
that? Like, he's Bizarro. It's like he's a
Yeah,
clone of Superman who's
and
like
they even
not
said he's
smart.
dumber. Yeah, he's dumb.
Yeah, yeah,
I did like the use of like Lex Luthor doing the whole, like he was playing a video game basically, like 7A, and then he'd punch, these moves. He was like playing Mortal Kombat or
yeah.
the Injustice.
I like Nicholas Holt. I liked him in the X-Men films, and I liked him in Mad Max and all that. I enjoyed him. I thought he was doing some real fun stuff here with Lex. Outside of like, I hate to say this, but I know Gene Hackman. The problem with Gene Hackman is like those movies are that the villainy of Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor is kind of silly in
Yeah,
those
he's campy.
movies. Yeah, and the same with Kevin Spacey and no offense to what's his name, Jesse Eisenberg, but like like the red capes are coming. The red capes are coming. I'm like, what? I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to put a little. Yeah, he's like putting like Jolly Ranchers in people's mouths. I'm like, what is going on here? It was just like, okay, this is like, it was like Holt was just doing, I am Lex Luthor, and I love that he just leans in. He's like, yeah, of course I'm envious. Like, he just like goes into it. I'm like, cool. Like, I'm on board for that. And I was fine with Bizarro because it had to be, the thing is they need to match Superman power wise. So it's got to be Bizarro, or it's got to be General Zod, or it's got to be something, you know what I mean? So
I would have rather had actually been Ultraman. I would have really, because they go into
that, man.
Well, you got the pocket universe of how he's moving along. You can easily have it be where Ultraman was part of that universe or something that they break into. I'm tired of seeing Bizarro. I'm tired of seeing Zod. I'm tired of other Kryptonians. It seems like those are the only things that you can bring into these live action Superman movies.
Well, that's the sad part is
Lex Luthor.
Well, that's what I was saying. The sad part is that, actually, and we've talked about who has the best rogues gallery. And number one is Batman. Number two is Spider-Man. But I think we've discussed like who has the best rogue. That's not a team. It's like arguably the X-Men probably is like the next one. But it's like, Superman, like he actually has a great rogues gallery from like Parasite or Metallo or Toyman or good.
I would no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just agreeing. And then I would have. Oh, you could have Ultraman beats Parasite.
Yeah.
How cool, because then he had gotten the DNA because he absorbed Superman somehow in their fight, and so that's why he has the DNA. Or I mean Brainiac, or like you said, Toyman, or there's much more rogues to choose from, and they just keep going to the same well because I think they have to go power with power.
I think,
And
but though it's easier for them to like like you have your big villain of Lex Luthor. Why blow it out with like also adding Parasite when you can say Parasite for the next movie? Just like okay, do an evil
yeah,
version of Superman or a dumb version of Superman. Get the Bizarro because the thing is, Bizarro is actually linked to Lex Luthor. Even in the old
yeah,
comics, it
yeah.
was Lex Luthor who did that. So to me, it's like okay, it wasn't like that much of a maybe we want something ideally a little bit more, but for this, the purposes of the film, it was fine.
But I think even just with Parasite is not a character that you can pull through a movie through. Like I think Parasite, you do need
You would
Lex
need like a
Luthor,
rogue, like have to be like his rogues all teaming up against him
right?
or something like that.
What was this Superman Revenge Squad? That was like a team or something like that, or something.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, you can even pull Justice League bad guys with it. Don't do Dark Side yet. That's too
No,
early. Too
no
much.
Dark Side, no Mongol, no Doomsday.
No
Like leave
Doomsday.
them. Honestly, I hate to say, it, but they leave General Zod off too for a little bit too. Like it build to that. Like when they do the Phantom Zone, because like you already have like a weird thing. It's like to introduce the Phantom Zone would have been a weird
Right.
I think too far at that point. But that said, like that's what I'm saying. Like I think he was probably the best option they could have done. Maybe Parasite might have worked. It's just like Parasite would have had to absorb so much to be on a 1-to-1. He had to get his ass kicked right at the beginning. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
because like I know that was gonna say we didn't talk about it, but I did love the 300 years ago was like when
Yeah,
the
the
gods
three
and
three
monsters
three
began.
three.
Then 3 3 3 3, and then 3 minutes ago he lost for the first time. I I liked all that. And that's the other thing is like I will say I liked that this world is already lived in. It's not like, I hate to say, but Marvel like ostensibly starts with Iron Man and all of a sudden, there's some stuff that happened before with Captain America and Captain Marvel, they kind of retconned in and all that. But essentially kind of the birth of Iron Man is kind of what spawns the
Yeah.
MCU. This they're just like, dude, this shit's been going on for 300 years. Okay. Like just go with it. Magic exists,
Right.
aliens exist, interdimensional imps exist. I love that line. I was like, oh, it's some interdimensional imp. And you just see him like Guy Gardner with like a baseball bat trying to knock him down. Which to that end, which interdimensional was it? It could have been Mixie Plixic or Mr.
No.
Can't ever say his name. But it couldn't have been Batmite either, right? It had to have been something like that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Oh, there's probably some like version of the Sun Eater or something like that.
That's I thought it was great though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of those cast of characters, what did you think of the Justice Gang?
Yeah, like I don't know why they weren't saying Justice League or just
because they're saving that. They want to save that for when they actually do Justice League.
No, that's true. But
they want to earn that. They saw what happened the last time they tried to rush the league out.
That's true.
That's
true. But the name joke was funny. It's and just with the characters that they had, I thought because in the movie the Justice League was what Guy, Hot
Guy
Girl,
Gardner?
Mr. Terrific, and
then
eventually Metamorpho.
Dude, I will say right now, when I saw Metamorpho, I kind of squealed a little bit in the theater. Dude, it's Metamorpho! It's like,
I thought you knew.
No, but I mean, like, I didn't know he was even in the movie, but also, like, I thought they did such a great design with his costume or with his not special, but the makeup on him. Like, he is such a cool character in the comics, like cool looking that is. Like to see it done and just like, yep, we're going for it with the weird purple half body and the orange, and white, what I mean, all that. I was like,
right.
It was just cool to see it done and done well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was like, I don't know why. I was squealed. I was like, that's so cool. Like, I mean, and really, did you ever think you would see like Metamorpho when you were reading the comics? Like they would do a comics accurate version of him. You know what I mean? Like the little crystals and the mist and all that.
And done well too. Yeah. And his suit seemed very practical. It was the CGI.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it looked real.
I think that's
it wasn't like a Galactus cloud.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh God. You just brought down the room with that one. Thank you, Brian.
Well, and the guy who played Metamorpho was it's what's his name? Anthony Carrigan, is that his name? It's the guy who's NoHo Hank, right?
NoHo Hank, and then he played Victor Zsasz in Gotham.
Yeah,
and he played something else in the CW Flash. He played like some other character in that.
I had a chance to have him on one of my shows back in the day when I was at Nerdist, and I will say that cat is a cool cat. He was like a
Oh,
really,
nice.
really, really cool guy. So it's always good to see, like, people that that are like, that guy was such a nice guy, to see them like getting work like that, like,
Mm-hmm.
because it was I don't know, like I said, it was just really fun. But I was gonna say, you obviously liked it too. It sounds like the other thing that we didn't get really hardly anything at all was a Hawk Girl. She
Right.
looked cool, but was this the Shiera Hawk Girl? Is this
Right. We don't know which one.
yeah, which I will say, my son, he's into the Justice League, he loves Hawk Girl. He's like, it's Hawk Girl, it's Hawk Girl. He looks like, Daddy,
Oh, wow.
Daddy, it's Hawk Girl. I'm like, yeah, I know, son. I
Perfect.
see her
That's what we
too.
need. Yeah. And then,
I
yeah,
see
so
her.
we don't know, like, if her mace was into metal. We don't, I
Yeah,
mean, which
she's
we
a
could,
reincarnated soul.
is she a reincarnated soul? Yeah. Or is he,
She's an alien. She's an
um,
archaeologist. All the
right.
above.
She seemed, I mean, she seemed like the straight man for the
The
craziness
team.
of Guy Gardner, like, and of Mr. Terrific.
Mhm.
Because Mr. Terrific she was the middle. You have Guy Gardner
Yeah.
on one end of the spectrum, and then you have Mr. Terrific on the very other end of the spectrum, and then she was the
Yeah.
middle. But I thought she did well. Like the screen part, I was like, oh, okay, that's a choice. And I understand
Again,
it, but
well, it's to say, at the end of the day, this still is a Superman movie, and they're not trying to
yeah,
world build too much with it. But
yeah.
I would have liked a small throwaway line just to know which one. I mean, I'm sure
All she
someone's
needed to say is
dissected.
like, he's not the only alien. Like, that's all she needed
Yeah,
to say.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we know that with your boy Guy.
Yeah, Mr. Bowl Cut, a bowl cut, which is
How did you feel about Guy and the GL of it all?
I thought he did so good. He was such a he was a lovable asshole, and that's
Yeah,
what Guy Gardner is. Like,
yeah,
he's one of there's one moment where he thought he could go toe to toe with Superman, which in the comics he does. Like, he tries to fight Eradicator, and like, I have one of those issues where he fights the Eradicator,
yeah.
and he was a seasoned Guardian, excuse me, Green Lantern, and like, all the constructs that he had was very, because in the world of the Green Lantern, you have in
The
the
best one,
comics.
Kyle Rayner.
James Gunn doesn't even like Kyle Rayner. I saw an interview; he doesn't even like it. So we ain't gonna see him in the Gunverse.
Probably not.
Yeah, but you have, like, Kyle Rayner is like is known as the artist, and then John Stewart is the architect, Hal Jordan is the pilot, but then Guy Gardner, he comes from a family of cops, and he is more of the copish kind of character with the lanterns, and the lanterns are the peacekeeping force of the universe.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to be space cops,
Yeah, space cop. But I liked the running joke of the Justice Gang that he kind of perpetrated the whole time, and just and then his constructs when he was taking out all those tanks,
with the middle finger and all
finger
that.
in the hand, and just but also he was doing that, like, as he was just walking, like, down the park, like, he was just like, it was nothing.
I like that there was even like he's an a-hole, but there was still not a kindness to him, because it's not that, but also like for example, when it's revealed that Superman's parents that go down there and make a harem of women and take over the world, he's just like walks in like, yo, he like throws up like basically curtains so none of the reporters can get it. He's like, what's going on, dude? Like, he's like, let's get your side of the story first, but I'm not happy. But he didn't immediately just like go into it, launch into it. He's like,
Start fighting him or anything.
Yeah, he's like, give us your privacy, let me find out what the hell's going on here. I like that there was a little bit of that. I like that, when Superman could not make it to stop the Civil War, not Civil War, but that invasion, him and his team, they show up and are ready to, help out. Yeah, he's an ass, but at the end of the day, he will do the right thing. It's just, he's just sometimes misguided on how he gets there.
Yeah, with the lovely head of hair.
Oh, that lovely. Were you the one who told me, like, Keith Giffen, one of the guys who co-created him, or not co-created him? Didn't he co-create, or
I don't know,
brought him to light? Brought him to light.
Yeah.
I guess. I gotta know. I wonder who did. Man, I feel bad now. I feel like an idiot. But I think Keith Giffen's like, I never thought I'd actually see that, like a comics accurate version of Guy.
Gil Kane.
Okay, yeah, it was Gil Kane. Okay,
and John Broome.
Yeah, it's back in the day. Oh, that's back in the Green Lantern days.
Yeah.
But anyway, like the version we all know and love is kind of
Keith
because
Giffen
of
one, yeah.
DeMatteis and Giffen and Kevin McGuire and all of them doing the Justice League book back in the day. It's probably the most well-known version of the character.
The best version of him, yeah.
Well, speaking of the other version, not other version, speaking of the team, Justice League, the other person we get is Mr. Terrific, who again, I was like, you're going to be Mr. Terrific? Boy, howdy.
It worked.
Dude almost stole the show.
He came very close to. He's had as much news as the actual Superman movie itself.
Yeah.
So he did great. I think he played the character very well, very like serious, but also comedic. And then he had his Yondu moment, like the whole T-Sphere scene was great. Yeah. It's just like that Yondu scene in Guardians 1 and 2. Yeah. And even with the music in the background type of thing too.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. He was a standout. And again, he's the smartest person in the room all the time, and so he gets increasingly frustrated with everybody else.
Well, wasn't he? Maybe I'm mixing it with Moon Girl, but isn't he like the third smartest character in the DC universe?
Yeah, he is. It's like who is like Lex, and then Brainiac is up there. I don't think Brainiac counts, but he's
no. But I mean, like in terms of humans, like actually,
that's what I mean. Yeah. Like Lex is up there, Batman, Mr. Terrific. I think Mr. Terrific is probably like number 2.
Yeah, I think they say like he's like one of But yeah, I never thought I would see Mr. Terrific. It wasn't anything I was like clamoring for, and I don't mean to be an asshole, but I was like, gotta get that Mr. Boy Howdy. I'm like, now I was like, boy howdy, give me more of him. I'll take more of that cat. Let's do that.
Yeah, it's funny coming out of this how many people didn't know who Mr. Terrific is.
Yeah.
And so I think this was a good showcase for him. And how great he is. So I mean, he's a fun character.
He's always good in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. He's always fun in the JSA comic and all that. Like he's always a fun character, but he's just like you don't think of he's almost like in a weird way like Aquaman. You don't think of them as like that. Right. I don't say main cast, but you don't think of them as like that, like standout heroes. Like they're always a great supporting character. And in this case, like he stepped out of that supporting role and became like a main character, if that makes at least for me. And I'm not trying to be an ass about it. I really not. I'm sure there's a lot of Mr. Terrific stands out there that I'm offending right now, but it's like,
he's the John Jones, I think, where John Jones is a great character, but he's better in a team, I think.
And that's even John Jones when in I think Justice League Unlimited, like when
he was gone,
March Madness kicks off, is like Mr. Terrific's like, well, I guess I'm stepping up. He's like, yo, this is a lot tougher than it looks, guys. I need some help.
Right. I remember there's a moment too that was really cool with that when it's the Brad Meltzer book where you had Justice League and JSA kind of coming together to find Wally. Okay. They're trying to get Wally West back, and they're using some of the JSA character, or not JSA, but Legion characters who were lost in time and stuff. Okay. And there's a moment where Mr. Terrific is playing chess against Black Canary and Hal Jordan blindfolded, and playing them both. And then basically he plays the one against the other. So whatever Black Canary does to him, he does to Hal Jordan, and Hal Jordan. Yeah. So at least he either gets two wins and a draw, something like he wins.
He's already figured out like no matter what, I'll win one of the two or I'll get a draw.
So it shows like his strategy and just how his mindset. And again, it's blindfolded too, and it's great.
So he's got to remember the board. Not only the board, you got to remember two boards at the same time. That's great. And
there's the book that the Terrifics that kind of came out recently too. That was pretty good.
Jeff Lemire
too much.
Yeah. It was Tom Strong. Was it Metamorpho?
It wasn't it was
Tom Strong shows up in it eventually. It's not Metamorpho. Maybe it's
no, it was Plastic. No, it was Metamorpho. You're right. Okay. And then Plastic Man.
Plastic Man, yeah, it wasn't Elongated Man.
Phantom Girl and Element Dog. and Offspring, which is
Elastic Man's son
yeah,
from or
Plastic Man's,
Plastic
yeah,
Man's
yeah,
son from the Kingdom Come universe, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It
but
only
that's
went
a
like
fun
12
book too.
issues though. What's up?
Yeah, but I think it was a pretty fun book.
Yeah.
Anything Plastic Man is fun.
Oh, yeah. I think I like Elongated Man. Well, we are off topic at this point.
No, fine. What else is new?
That's true. What else? But we digress. Speaking of characters that stood out, Crypto. What did you think of Crypto the dog?
I think Crypto is funny. It was like, as somebody who has a puppy, Crypto is just that puppy. I mean, I liked how he didn't listen,
Yep.
and then and I love the it's being memed right now, but just when Superman just busts into Lex Luthor's office, like, "Where's the dog? Where's my dog?
Where's my dog?"
Yeah. And so Crypto had his own Loki Avengers moment with Lex Luthor
Loki,
too.
huh? Oh. Now low key or Loki?
Oh, Loki, the Loki Hulk moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lex got tore up. Yeah, I thought Crypto was fun. It was, he was a good boy. He was a not well behaved good boy, but
Right.
he was a good boy.
He behaved when it counted.
Yeah. Which kind of led us into Supergirl, which it was nice to see that little tease. I mean, that was essentially when everyone's like, "Oh, there wasn't a good post credit," I'm like, that's your post credit tease right there.
Yeah.
That's literally leading into the next movie, which, if you don't know, is a direct reference to that the whole thing about her getting drunk on sun or planets with red suns because she couldn't get drunk on Earth with the yellow sun. That's a reference to Tom King's run with, I think it's I think it's Bilquist. I can't pronounce, but anyway, it's her going off and having to help a person, who needs help, or an alien that needs help on a planet with a red sun. She's like, "Oh, I don't have my powers, but I'm Supergirl, so I got to still help out." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun
that's a Superman trait. That's a Superman trait.
She's a little bit darker. In this one, she seemed more like a party girl. In the Tom King one, it's much more of a darker, like, I'm still dealing with the fact that, like, my entire civilization just got kapooted, and I'm getting drunk to kind of, get over that kind of. At least that was my vibe from it. But,
Gotcha. Does that kind of rank pretty well on Tom King stuff? Because as we've said on here, like, he's kind of a hit or miss with us. So
it's very Tom King-esque. If you've read a Tom King book, this is it in spades. That said, I do think it's one of his better books. I am not a huge Tom King stan. I think, like I said, there's either books I'm like, that was the best thing I've ever read, or I really did not care for that. I think he does well when he has a limited amount of issues to tell a story, because, like we saw with his Batman run, it just kind of, I don't want to say meandered, but also I heard there was a lot of editorial interference with that. But even then, I still didn't care for a lot of the stuff in it. There was stuff I did like. That said, it's 8 issues. I thought it worked well. Go read it. I would recommend it. Yeah. Speaking of Kryptonians, we also had Jor-El and Lara.
A surprise Bradley Cooper cameo.
A little Bradley Cooper cams. I mean, the whole theater went, "Whoa!"
Yeah, exactly. What?
Surprised to find out Jor-El's an asshole.
Yeah, this was the big miss for me. I don't know. I'm just the purist in a way that I didn't like how, even though, yes, that's how Kryptonians were in the society, but Jor-El and Lara is supposed to be different.
Yeah, I have two things with that. Number one, in the most recent Bendis version of Jor-El, he is an asshole. You know what I mean?
He's also alive, so it's weird.
Yeah, well, they kill him at the end as an old man, but it's like, technically, canonically, he kind of is that character. That said, I wouldn't put it past Lex to have manipulated that to be like, hey, the first half was said, go be a hero is correct. Let's change it and make the evilest thing we can for the second half of that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying Lex is smart enough to have been able to manipulate that to be what he needed it to be. Like, I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, do you think they left it open-ended for a reason like that? Because you even had Mr. Terrific saying, "I know those guys. That's verified," or blah blah blah.
Well, the linguistics that they received was verified. I'm saying that he could have, like, had the language enough that he could have, like, changed the second half of it and then been whatever message he needed it to be. Not saying like the linguistics were wrong, like they probably said that in the footage that was released, but how easy would it have been for him ostensibly to rewrite or AI that to be whatever, you know what I mean? I'm saying like it could have been, I'm saying that he could have manipulated the footage to change what they said.
Yeah.
That all said, yeah, I was a little upset with that too. Like I am an old school Jor-El and Lara thing where like, no, we know this is not cool and we're trying to be better. And I agree with you on that one. I think they were just a little too like, I don't want to say alien because they are alien, but it was a little too like not, it didn't gel with me as well.
It surprised me and not in a good way.
Yeah.
I felt like Superman when I heard that for the first time.
Yeah.
With that though, on the other side of the coin, how do you feel that the Ma and Pa Kent were? I mean,
they were fine.
Ma Kent was hilarious.
Yeah, Ma Kent was great. I loved her like yelling into the phone. Like,
right.
Yeah, that's
or that's just saying about you on the box. Or
yeah, I thought they were a little. They played
your boots.
Little. Yeah, they're playing a little too comedically. I think a little bit like, John Kent is, supposed to be like he is that, and we do get that moment where they're together and he's kind of giving him advice. But John Kent is that, that voice of authority for Superman, and like so we do get a little bit of that. One thing I thought it was nice thematically, like he likes to watch the footage of his parents. Originally it was that, and then they replaced it with the Kents. From just a purely like logistical point of view, like who shot that footage? Because every single shot is of Pa and Ma and baby Clark. Someone's shooting that footage in every single shot. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
one of the robots, one of the Superman robots.
Maybe it was.
It was number 4 the whole time, or what he wanted to name to be Gary.
Yeah, but it's like I love Gary. But it's just I love this like there's all this camcorder footage of Ma and Pa, and I'm like, wait a minute, who shot that? Who shot that footage? Like, it was clearly moving. It wasn't like on a C stand or a tripod.
And the framing was impeccable.
What did you think, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, the scene?
Oh no, I'm just Pa and Ma. Did you were?
I thought they were good. I liked them. Yeah, I like those two actors. I've seen that. The guy who played Pa Kent in other stuff. He's a great character actor. And I did like the emotional scene that they had with it's the the pep talk, the Pa Kent pep talk,
the Pa trademark pep talk,
right? And it was good that in a time of personal crisis for Clark, he still has those two bedrocks that helped him out. Like Ma Kent is ready to help out whatever he needs, and Pa is there to give him the inspiration or even just to ground him and be like, reminding him he can't do everything at once, or you're not this person that people are telling you that you are.
Well, it's the nature versus nurture. Again, like Kryptonian made him super, but the Kents made him a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. What do you think, though? Obviously, we kind of briefly touched on this before. This isn't the first outing for the new DC cinematic world. Technically, it could be argued it's Peacemaker or Creature Commandos, but
or the Suicide Squad.
But even that's like we don't know. It's like kind of like up in the air. It's like because it is a weird. They're going to keep certain elements and they're going to get deep six some of the other. Obviously, most of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Suicide Squad kind of goes into Peacemaker, so that's why it's like the direct. Which I'm wondering if the Peacemaker cameo in Superman.
I'm wondering though if Peacemaker 2 though is going to like retcon some of that because like
he sees both Justice Leagues.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see.
There's a scene in Peacemaker when he's kind of like auditioning for Justice Gang. Oh no, sorry, in this new season.
Oh, okay.
In this new season, he's like auditioning for the Justice Gang or something. So you have like Green Lantern and Max Ward and Hot Girl.
Okay.
So there's like a promo scene.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see if there's there's a dimensional shift or something like that.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know how, because technically doesn't like Aquaman
address it.
Yeah, they're just like, forget it. Did you watch Creature Commandos, the animated series that kind of preempted all this, which is the first real, for sure, 100% new DC thing?
Yeah, because it preempted it where the guy who played Flag Senior he
Yeah,
does the voice in Creature Commandos, so there's
yeah,
that
it's
direct correlation.
Frank Grillo, right?
Yeah, I think Frank Grillo. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I keep worrying that I'm saying his name, but Crossbones' real name in Marvel,
Yeah,
like getting that mixed up. But
yeah.
yeah, it's Frank Grillo who, and even in Creature Commandos, they address his son Flag Junior dying in the Suicide Squad. So I think there's
Oh,
more.
interesting.
There's all that
Okay,
connectivity.
okay.
But it's a good cartoon. It's very James Gunn-y in a sense where
Hmm.
he it's more crass and more a little more blood and guts, but there's a lot of good moments like the Nazi bot
Nazi bot.
no not no
What's
okay,
going
not
on here?
Nazi bot, yeah, I know his it's the goodness, he's a robot, and in what's from World War II, and
Hmm.
what's amazing from him, a GI robot, excuse me, GI
Mm.
robot, and he's basically he was designed and programmed to kill Nazis.
Okay.
Without any like that wouldn't make you a Nazi, would it? And then he'd show a gun, and he's very one sided. So any if any any semblance of a Nazi, he'll kill you.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
so
That's great.
it's great. And so there's like a moment where he gets taken into one of those neo-Nazi meetings on it, like they don't know
Oh
who he is,
shoot!
so he has he massacres the whole room, and that's what brings him into Belle Reve.
That's
um
great.
and then Dr.
I don't know. It sounds like he's
Phosphorus.
just doing God's work at that point.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
mean,
give that
pretty
man a
much,
medal.
yeah,
As
and
as
but he's
as as, as my 6-year-old has learned from me, the only good Nazi is a dead one.
a dead one, yeah. And that character is just great, and there's weasels in it, and then the bride
Yeah,
from Frankenstein's the bride and Frankenstein, which they changed the
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein character a lot compared to the comics,
Oh,
or
okay. Yeah,
Frankenstein's monster, excuse me.
yeah.
Yeah, because in Frankenstein, in the cartoon, he's more like a crazy stalker, basically, for
Okay,
the bride. Um,
okay.
but
All right. But
they have a bunch of it's good. It's a good good
if
bridge
you're
to this
you
movie.
want to scratch a DC new world,
Yeah.
the new universe, it's a good way to start. Well, let's quickly run down some of the stuff that is coming out pretty shortly. And we briefly talked about the Supergirl movie that's up next, that was Tom
Hmm.
King's run. And
Which
we
will
also
feature
talked a little bit
Lobo.
about what's that? Will feature Lobo?
Yeah, it'll feature
Like,
Lobo, and Jason Momoa is
Jason
playing
Momoa,
Lobo.
yeah, yeah. Were you a fan of the Peacemaker show, and are you excited for Peacemaker season 2?
Yeah, that was fun. It was a fun show, and I think the
Yeah,
second season is going to be fun too.
are- yeah. They're also doing
And
Lanterns too. I mean, you got
I'm
to be
excited for
excited
that
about.
one. I'm excited for that one. They just wrapped filming for that.
Yeah, they've been trying to work on that show for years,
Yeah,
or
but I
at least
think
on
from what
even
I'm
like when I was
seeing, what
back on
I'm
the
sounding like, it
yeah.
seems like they
Oh, it's
have
not.
the
Oh
right
no,
idea.
yeah, but I mean, like even like on the old Attack of the Show back in like
Mhm.
the 2010s, like they were talking about that show. And the other one that's a real oddball one, and I know why, but is Clayface is
Right.
also on the docket next. You know, like
Seems
okay,
out of nowhere. Where he won't
yeah, it's
touch
because
Batman, but he'll do Clayface.
yeah, I think it's because well, there's a couple reasons. I think they do need to let Batman settle for a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, and also they need to prove that they can build this world without Batman. You know what I mean? And I
Mhm.
think this movie shows that they can. But when I say this movie, I mean the Superman movie. As
Yeah.
for Clayface, the front I read is like the script is done, it's good, so
Yeah.
do it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, that sounds like a good attitude to have. You know?
Yeah, and then I think rumored was Authority, but I don't know if that's still
Mhm.
on the docket.
I bet
Wonder
you it is
Woman
based.
was on it and
Yeah,
then got taken off.
pushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few other things here and there. I know that the gods and monsters, like the phase one of it all, is
Yeah.
pretty packed. But
Also, I liked how he had Planet Watch, so it's like a mix of planetary / Stormwatch.
it's totally Stormwatch.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a precursor to Stormwatch. It's got to be. I thought that was a good
yeah,
little thing, and I want more of that. Give me that authority Stormwatch, baby.
yeah. Give me some of that good stuff. Give me the Jack Hawksmore.
Yeah, yeah. Who's your favorite? And we're off topic on this point, but who's your favorite Authority member? Who would you want to see the most of?
That one is tough. I mean, it'd be fun to see like a Jenny Sparks movie,
Yeah,
like see how that goes.
yeah,
Did like or Jack Hawksmoor one.
yeah,
I think those two.
yeah. I agree with you on that one. I would love to see this is a planetary done right, but I feel like that would need to be a TV show. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
would do
yeah,
that the
yeah,
right
yeah.
way. Well, I feel like I know your answer here, Josh, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What are your final thoughts and recommendation? What do you recommend the movie? Do you not recommend the movie? What do you think?
Yeah, as a Superman fan, I do recommend the movie. I really liked it. I really liked the characters. I liked the writing and all the. They brought in a lot of the Silver Age, crazy zany like Superman stuff,
Yeah,
like the bunch of monkeys that are being internet
typing us in.
trolls. Yeah, and then
Yeah, that was really good.
the Pocket Universe stuff, even some of the Easter eggs too, like what
The
um
hypno glasses and all
the
that.
hypno glasses, they brought in some Martians. They mentioned
Mm-hmm.
Martians there. I think
Well,
there was like a
that
white
was straight
Martian.
up. That was a white Martian. That was a white
Yeah,
Martian
there
there,
was a
right?
white
Yeah.
Martian. So and then Metamorpho's son looked very much like a green Martian.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well,
and
he Metamorpho did have a son that looked similar like that in the comics, so I'm
oh,
pretty
green
sure.
like that. I mean, he has a son
I
that's
thought he
looks
did.
just like him. He had a son named Shift, who
Trying
like
to.
they say son like he basically as like Carnage is the
Oh,
son
you're
of
right. He
Venom.
wasn't green. He was also mixed colors,
Yeah,
like he is.
yeah, his
Yeah,
name's like Shift. He was more of like around that Judd Winnick Outsiders
yeah, yeah.
timeline.
His son Joey Mason was first seen in Justice League Europe
Mhm.
11. Oh, okay,
Mm.
interesting.
But
Anyway,
yeah, he's kind of like his metamorphosis son is like Carnage's son to Venom, where he's like a piece of him that kind of grew
okay.
to.
Oh,
Um, but the different characters were done well. The story was done well. It was just a fun movie. It's a good popcorn
yeah.
movie.
Yep. I enjoyed it too. It was the big thing. I thought it was nice to see Superman smile. I like that
Mhm.
it was also not embarrassed to just be like, "Yep, these are superheroes, magic, aliens, all that," and just like not having to give us a deep explanation of why they all existed. It's like even like back in the MCU, it was like it's not really magic; they're accessing a portal of
Right,
energy.
right.
You know, it's like and eventually they finally threw that all out, and they're just like, I like that this world is feels like it's already been lived and built in, and that like we're gonna just see things as they come up and not feel like everything's a setup to get to that Justice League movie. It's like we might get it, we might get this
Right.
instead. You know, it feels like a comic book brought to life, and you know, whereas I will say the MCU does feel like these are movies that the comic books are taking inspiration from. Now it feels
Mhm.
like the DC stuff is the movies are taking inspiration from the comics, not vice versa. If that makes
Yeah, yeah. The movies are not dictating the books.
Yeah, and again, I'm not trying to poo-poo on the MCU or Marvel Comics. Like, I get it, dude. They made money. These movies have
Yeah.
made billions of dollars. Like, well, chase the dollar bill. You know what I mean? It's just, I will say it's fun to like I said. I think it can be encapsulated with like the metamorph orbital. I, I it was just nice to see a comics
Mhm.
accurate version, not CG, but like just makeup. It's like, yep, that guy's got a kryptonite hand. That's cool.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It
and
just
little
is cool.
and little things too, like the Hall of Justice introduction
Yeah.
a little bit, and
Yeah, the whole just is great, which apparently there's a bunch of Easter eggs in the if you can
uh,
see it in the paintings on the walls, you can see like, like Wesley Dodd, the Sandman Wesley Dodd,
mm,
or you can see, stuff like that in the background there,
I
which
bet they were
I'm sure
painted
once
by Kyle Rayner.
yeah, they probably were.
Oh,
Well,
the
it
other
sounds like
Easter
we're
eggs
both
too, like
mhm.
the author names on the streets. I think
Oh, yeah,
that
they
was fun to like pick out.
I know I spotted Dan Jurgens, you spotted Mark Wade. I
Yeah.
think Alex Ross is in there. I don't know if I spotted any other ones, but those are the
Mm.
ones I clocked pretty quickly.
Yeah, so I mean, so the little stuff like that is good for the comic book fans as well. So
Yeah,
it's just
yeah, yeah. Well, and again, that's to my point with Easter eggs. Like that's what exactly an Easter egg should be. If you notice it and you're a fan, like that's cool. But
yeah,
if you don't, it doesn't take away from the experience of the movie.
you're right, right.
Cool. We also did real quick. We did get a little piece of Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord, your
As Max
boy.
Luthor, yeah, yeah, a little different version. So we'll see how I think he's going to have a bigger part in Peacemaker too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
And so we'll see how that is. And yeah, and before we move on as well, what about the after credit scenes?
Fine.
Yeah, they're fine. They're quick. I think I would have loved to. I know they don't want to, pigeonhole themselves into like a new, kind of what Marvel does, where do something and it doesn't, nothing comes from it. But I think it would have been fun to see, because they talked about cloning Superman already. You see Superboy in a clone thing, like a Cadmus clone thing, because you have the mix of the Lex Luthor and Superman DNA, which that would have been great.
I think what they could have done, and maybe they tested it out and it just didn't play as well, but like the Supergirl showing up at the end, like that could have been a post-credit sequence instead. Because that movie is next on or at least one of the next ones on the docket anyway. Like, so it's like that would have been like, well, we know it's done. We're gonna do it. You know what I mean? So I think that might have been a smarter move. Like go with what you know is gonna play next. But again, who knows?
I would have loved just to see the Superboy. Kind of tease.
Fanboy.
I know, I'm a fanboy of it. I know. It's for me, fanboys.
So speaking of Cadmus and Superboy, let's talk about some of the projects, that people can either read or view or watch or whatever in the meantime until the next DC project comes out. And when I say Cadmus, I actually referring to the Triangle era of Superman. That is when in DC Comics, they basically just interconnected all of the Superman books. It went like you had to read Superman, then you had the next week you had to read Man of Steel, and the next week you had to read Man of Tomorrow, and the next week you had to read Action Comics, the next week you had to read Adventures of Superman. It was called the Triangle era, and it basically started in the late 80s, it started in the 90s, I believe. But if you're looking for like that kind of like truth, justice, in the American way with a smile on his face and doing everything right, this is like the era of Superman that it feels dated but not too dated, modern enough. It's like it's pre-cell phone essentially, or cell phone era kind of technology in the book, but it's still really good. It's not as like you read some of that stuff from the 70s and the 60s and it's a little campy, like what if Lois turned into polka dots, it's like weird, it's like I'm serious, like there's like weird stories like that.
And wasn't that a running joke, like Superman's a jerk, and then they had these
sorry, Lois, I'm into this mermaid.
I'm into blondes now.
It was like weird stuff like that. But anyway, the Triangle era of Superman is really fun, and it's like basically all the 90s kind of Superman. I really really enjoyed that era. And if you don't want to get like the big omnis of it, because like I think the second omni is going to come out next month, you can pick if you find a dollar store of comics, like you can find those in the quarter bins for like nothing. I think I've almost filled out most of my collection with those issues for like, I don't know, like I said, 50 cents each. Fun books.
Check out your local comic book store.
LCS.
Go to those. Go to your LCS. Another great kind of storyline that goes with this is Superman for All Seasons. So it was written by Jeff Loeb and then drawn by Tim Sale. And it's a great kind of story that kind of goes through the 4 seasons, and they're like 4 different storylines or stories, self-contained stories that are narrated by 4 different characters. So like in spring, it's narrated by Jonathan Kent. Summer, it was Lois Lane. Fall, it was Lex Luthor, and then winter was Lana Lang. So
I think we recommended that book when we did All-Star Superman. So speaking of, we also, the other one is All-Star Superman. Check that out if you haven't already.
And then if you haven't already, check out our episode about All-Star Superman, because that's a similar reading / viewing that you think you need to we recommend. With that too, I mean, I think another one is the Wade book, the Superman Birthright, that gives a lot of the inside of the
art on that.
Inside of the character of Superman and just how him coming into Metropolis and becoming Superman himself.
His friendship with Lex Luthor before all this.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to recommend, I wrote down, was the Superman animated series now and the Justice League cartoon. I'm going to leave you to, because I love the cartoon, but man, you love cartoons.
Yes. I mean, look, everything Superman should slightly be based off of this cartoon, both the Superman cartoon and the Justice League cartoon. Clancy Brown is the Lex Luthor that all Lex Luthor should esteem to be. The use of Brainiac is great. This twist on Toyman is amazing. His interaction with Batman and other Justice League characters are amazing. The use of Superman in Justice League, he was kind of the barometer of the bad guy. So they had a thing where once they introduced a villain, Superman would be the first one that they take out or they fight to show how strong, or why do we need the Justice League to fight this villain. And even look up clips of him fighting Darkseid. There's this one scene where it's towards the end of the show, so definitely watch the whole show, but there's a scene where he goes all out on Darkseid, and it is amazing. I cannot recommend it enough.
Can you recommend the Superman and Lois show that we talked about earlier with Tyler Hoechlin?
Yeah, Tyler Hoechlin. That also is very well done and very well written, and it's both fun and serious. They delve into storylines that became personal for me as well, and it's a great CW show. It's the last CW superhero show, but I think it's one of the best ones. It didn't stay so long, like
it ran its course, like
Arrow, Flash,
season or two too long.
Season 5 or 6 seasons too long. And it is great. And with that though, too, I think one more Superman book too that I thought really ties in to this, and it kind of delves into the what they're kind of talking about with Superman. This one is the storyline, what's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way.
Yeah, it's Action Comics 775.
Yeah, which
with just Joe Kelly and Doug Mankey.
Yeah, can Superman be Superman in the current world and the current views? And it's a great book for that.
It's Superman versus the Authority, essentially.
We
talked about it before, but we did. It's different.
But it's also it's Superman versus Authority, but it's also Superman versus the way the society.
Well, it's societal norms and all that. Not norms, but how we viewed superheroes at that time.
Which is funny if we go back to the synopsis of the movie itself that we read earlier in this podcast 45 years ago. It says Truth, Justice, and the Human Way, which is different.
Human Way,
So even that is different now. Excuse me.
They dropped. It's funny. They, not again. We're off topic. It doesn't matter. We're at the end of the episode. No one cares. They did drop that a few years back when Straczynski was writing. I believe when he was writing Superman for like an issue, not an issue, but like for about like 12 issues or so. I think it's the Grounded arc. Oh boy! And of course, everyone got in a big uproar on a certain side of the political spectrum. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Superman is here for humanity, not America. He's here for everybody.
Yeah, he
happens to live in America.
He's a citizen of the world. So what's another kind of book that's kind of not Superman, but still great if you like this movie?
You actually brought this to my attention. I'm going to give you credit for it, but the David Goyer and Jeff Johns run, I think on JSA, and that's a long run, but that's like Mr. Terrific and all those like classic proto versions of the modern heroes we have, like Jake Garrick, but you also get characters like Stars and Stripe and
Shazam.
Shazam and all that. But it's just a fun book. It doesn't really have like any of the big people like Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman, but it is that filled out DC world. And I would recommend that. It's a lot too. There's a lot. I think I have all 3 Omnis, and it's a good, I want to say like 3,000 pages of comics, if not more.
And it's just a good way to introduce more of how Mr. Terrific is. I think it's a good,
it's a good way. I think if you're looking for more Mr. Terrific, it's the way to go.
And also, I mean, it's JSA is more of like the kind of quirky character, so that's what James Gunn really likes, is those quirky characters. So if you like the movie and those type of characters, and you like that book, and then
and of course, if you like Guy Gardner, you got to pick yourself up Justice League International. Keith Giffen, JMD Mateus, and the Kim McGuire stuff is peak funny. We've talked about it before. We're not going to get into it too much here, but if you like the Guy Gardner stuff, you do yourself a favor and check out those. And you can get those issues for like a song and a dance. In dollar bins. I think I have almost the entire run, and I've gotten it like in quarter bins.
And also, I mean,
although that I have
punch.
multiple copies of that Justice League #1 now, with first one appearance of Maxwell Lord, and they're starting to go through the roof.
Oh, very nice.
But of course, mine are in crappy condition, so
gotcha.
much, but still.
So you're going from 50 cents to 65. I have like 4 copies of it for some
reason now. Yeah, exactly. That brings us to weekly recommendations. What's that?
See the One Punch. The One Punch.
I know what you're talking about. Not One Punch Man, but the One Punch.
One Punch.
Okay, with those recommendations out of the way, what is your weekly recommendation this week, Josh?
So I know we just kind of talked about different stuff, but the one thing I started getting into right now is The Sacrificers. It's a Image comic from Rick Remender and Mike Furimara and Dave McCaig. Yeah, I look, I'm known for getting the names wrong, so at this point, I think it's my prerogative to get some names wrong.
Late in the night, you're fine.
Yeah, so I mean, it's this kind of weird story, not weird, but it's this interesting story where there's this paradise, and they have these gods, and every family kind of sacrifices a member of their family to appease these gods, and so I've just started really getting into it. I haven't really finished it or getting through it yet, but so far I'm liking it.
Okay, that's cool.
What about yourself? What are you reading, Brian? The world wants to know.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Honestly, I'm a little behind on stuff because I was doing a lot of research last week for some stuff, and then I actually got a gig for a few days, so I was behind on everything. I will just say I'm recommending the Summer of Superman initiative going on in DC right now. Whether it's Action Comics by Mark Waid, or Superman Unlimited with Dan Slott, or just Superman by Josh Williamson, or even the new Supergirl book. There's even a big Treasury edition. I think it's like Superman 2025 Treasury edition that Dan Jurgens did. It's a huge, oversized book. It's really pretty. Do yourself a favor. Go check it out. That's all I'm going to say right now.
Is World's Finest part of that? Or what they're doing with just Unlimited part of that too?
Yes, but no. Not really. It's I'm sure that there is like a little bit of crossover, but mostly it's Summer of Superman. It's just sort of like it's their chance to be like, this is why Superman is cool, y'all.
Gotcha.
And that's all.
Awesome.
Well, on that note,
thank you everybody for listening. Please make sure to look us up on socials, as we got Issues Cast on Instagram, and we got Issues on Blue Sky, and then the BComp on Blue Sky and Twitter, well. I think.
Yep. X, Twitter, whatever it's called.
Twitter. I'm going to call it Twitter. Yeah, but. If you're looking for a way to get a hold of us, I mean, please let us know how you feel about the episodes. Any recommendations that you want us to go through? Any bad jokes about superheroes? We'll take them all. And if you like this episode, please give us some 5 stars. Those 5 stars sustain me. They get me through the week. I just need those 5 stars. And recommend to your friends. Recommend to anybody that you see on the street. Write it out on your community corkboard, or anything else.
Your city's subreddit.
Your city's subreddit. Yeah, do that. Yeah. But I mean, the main thing is like we want to know what you want us to talk about, and that you're liking the show. Kind of helps us out. And
we will probably do. I'm not kidding. If I've literally done that. I've run into people in person, and they're like, "Hey, would you do this?" Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, so a couple of episodes already have been that way. So yeah.
Invincible, Punisher, stuff like that. Well, speaking of next episodes, we will be doing our first guest episode with one of our cohorts over on the Waffle Press podcast. Gene Versa is recommending. Yes,
I was just going to do the Gene Versa. We have a guest.
Yeah, he's going to be jumping on to do Jonathan Hickman's
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Thank you. I was going to say Spider-Man Unlimited. That's not right. Ultimate Spider-Man, which we're really excited to talk to him. And maybe after that, Derek Johnson, if you're still listening, maybe we'll have you on to talk some Superman. He actually Johnson wanted to be on this episode. Right. I'm sorry. We promised the first guest spot to Gene, but
we'll got in right before you.
Buddy. You got you right there, right before you, Derek.
Love to discuss Superman with him, or even Fantastic Four, because that'll be around the time Fantastic Four kind of comes out too.
Talk some FF stuff.
Yeah.
And FF? On that note, FF.
Yeah. On that note, thanks again for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.
Sorry for it being so long. Peace.
I'm not sorry.